I want you to take the most expensive prices and I want you to start there. In this video, I'm gonna teach you when you should change your Airbnb prices. Actually, I'm gonna give you a bonus. I'm gonna teach you how to find out what your prices should be to start with. There's going to be a time when you should change your prices. Only one time should you ever change your prices. I'm gonna teach you that in this video. By the end of this video, you're gonna be a pricing expert. And by being a pricing expert, you will make more money than 99% of your competition. Most people don't know how to do pricing on their Airbnb listing. You'll be one of the only ones. I have students who are making like 40% more money than they made before they met me, just from these free YouTube videos. So I'm gonna make you a lethal pricing strategy expert in one short video. Let's go. Welcome back, YouTube world. You know, I really like pricing strategy so much that I get really giddy doing these videos. And it's not an oversimplification when I say there's only one time ever that you should change your prices. So I'm gonna give you that, but we can talk for hours. So like, be prepared, like Scar from Lion King, which I think I already referenced in previous videos. So let's move on. I first want to give you some tips on how you can find what price you should be. Now, this is one of those really strange conversations because every listing is legitimately different. There's things that drive prices up and there's things that drive prices down. One of the most obvious things is the more people you can sleep in a house, the more that you're able to charge. So if you have a 4-bedroom house that can sleep 10 people, it'll make less money than a 4-bedroom house that can sleep 14. But it'll also make more money than a studio apartment that can sleep 2. If you got the cheapest, most bare bones 4-bedroom house that has no decor, no design, barely painted, no artwork, you'll make less money than if somebody really put their heart and soul into a property. So amenities and luxury will drive the price up as well. So I just want you to have that as a conceptual food for thought, but there are ways to look at listings and start to pull that like information out. So the first thing I want you to do is to go to Airbnb.com and I want you to search for some listings. I don't have a computer in front of me, but I've memorized the platform. Can you believe that? Hey YouTube world, I realized during the edit of this video very quickly, you have to take notes over the next 10 minutes. You need to have pen and paper out, and you most likely will need to watch this video twice. This is high level stuff. This is very thick stuff, and numbers don't come naturally to people, not all of you. So don't be discouraged if this sounds overwhelming the first time through. Just take some notes and then watch it again. I promise you, you'll get this. And this is one of the most important things you could know as an Airbnb host. So please, for your own good, watch this video twice. I'll see you at the end of the video. What I want you to do is I want you to search any city. And if we search Dallas, Texas right now for listings available 2 months from now, we're gonna get a good pull. And if we look for something that can sleep 4 or 5 guests, we're gonna find 1-bedrooms, studios, 2-bedrooms. Now, if we pick a 1-bedroom property that can sleep 5 guests, we're gonna see that it has a listed nightly rate. It's gonna have a listed cleaning fee. If we go to click on the date ranges, we can change the date ranges and we can also see if their prices change. So for example, we look at a Tuesday, we're gonna see one rate. But if we go look at a Saturday, we're gonna see a different rate. If we look at a listing for 7 or 10 days, we should see that it has a weekly discount. Now, if we go and look for other listings in the same area that also sleep 5 people, but might be a 2-bedroom, might be a studio, we're gonna see that those prices change. And if we continue to look at individual listings at a deeper level, we can actually see how full that calendar is. Let's say today is Halloween. Let's see November 1st or 2nd. We wanna see that that listing's booked. If we can't see that their calendar is blocked for a good portion of November, that means whatever prices that this listing is using is actually failing. The prices that they're listed at doesn't work for the listing that they are. Now, there could be reasons why. The listing we're looking at just may not be good enough for the price that they're trying to fetch, or that price is good most of the year and we're starting to get into their slow season and this person doesn't change their prices. This is so common. What I want you to do is take a look at any listing that you don't see future bookings on, and I want you to go to look at the reviews. If you see that a listing consistently has 4, 5, or 6 reviews per month, then you can extrapolate that they typically get booked, but they have a poor slow season strategy. Most of you won't realize how deep what I just told you actually is until you have multiple properties and years of experience. What I told you just now will probably go over your head as to how big and important what I just told you was. Most hospitality operators and short-term rentals make good money when it's easy. Most owners fail to operate through slow season and lose money in slow season. And that's why this video is so important, because what I'm going to teach you is how to adjust your prices, because if you're seeing the thing that I'm just showing you right now, like people not being booked in October, November, December, but have reviews for April, May, June, July, August, they're just not changing their prices. What we're looking at is we're looking at listings that are similar to ours, and we can see which ones are booked at the prices they're advertising, because we can look for the few dates that they're open, and we can see that their weekend price is A, and their daily price is B, and their calendar is 50% booked. That means that they have a functional working rate. You might even see that they have a weekly discount and chunks weeks of their calendars are full, which means that maybe their weekly discount is working. Now, you also have a hack here. Airbnb has something called smart pricing that you should not use, but there's 3 settings on smart pricing, and no one really ever considers this because everybody always gives the honest answer to the question. And do you know what question I'm asking?
How often would you like to be booked?
Have you thought about the way that this answer actually changes the algorithm? If you say, I want to be booked as often as possible, what do you think Airbnb does to your rate? Well, if you want to be booked as often as possible, your price should be as low as possible. If you chose sometimes, or you put rarely, the price would change. If you said, I want to rarely get booked on Airbnb, Airbnb would choose a price that would rarely get you booked. So as often as possible is the lower limit, and rarely is the upper limit of a range of price that Airbnb is considering listing your place for. Noting this range may be the most powerful thing you can do for setting your prices. The reason why is when we look at places like Wheelhouse or AirDNA, Mashvisor, All the Rooms, Price Labs, anybody, these are external softwares. They're not Airbnb. And what they do is they try to give their best guess to what your price should be based on what they see your listing to be. They look at your amenities. Do you have a pool? Do you have a gym? But they can't look how well your design is. Did you know that Airbnb has an algorithm to look at your photos and decide if they like your photos? So at this point that you turn smart pricing on, Airbnb has so much information about your listing that they can actually give you a solid price. You're not going to keep smart pricing on. I will say this again, but what you'll do is you'll turn it on and say as often as possible, and you hit the back button and you'll turn it on and say rarely. And I want you to notate both numbers and put that as your upper limit, lower limit. Then I want you to look at your competitors, see what they're listed for, and I want you to see which ones are actually functional and which ones just aren't getting any bookings, because you want to find out who's hitting and who's missing. Then you can plug into Wheelhouse, and I'm an advisor for Wheelhouse. I teach with Wheelhouse, and they call and ask me questions, and they've actually recently made some huge changes to their software based on my recommendations. So we've got a cool working relationship. When you plug into Wheelhouse, I want you to notate what it tells you your rate should be as well, but I want you to compare that to Airbnb's upper limit and lower limit. I have a very long playlist, free playlist on this channel of pricing strategy videos. And what I want you to do is I want you to start watching those videos and some of my pricing strategy and my philosophy about being too expensive. Because my hint for you here is when you change your price, I want you to pick the most expensive prices that anybody has given you in all this search. You know, the upper limit from Airbnb, the Wheelhouse prices, your best competition that's still getting some bookings. I want you to take the most expensive prices and I want you to start there. Because what we're going to do is we're going to start with an expensive listing and then we're going to drop our prices in only one scenario. Are you ready for that? Well, if you're ready for that, like this video and, you know, maybe pocket it for later and share with some of your friends because this might actually be controversial. So let's go to the mattresses with this one. The only time you should drop your prices is when you're not going to get enough views to get booked at your current price. And this is as much of a philosophy answer as it is a math equation. If you had 1 billion hits on your listing at $1,000 a night, do you think you might get booked for $1,000 a night? Let's say you have a listing that's normally $400 a night, but you get 1 billion hits, like internet visits at $1,000 a night. Do you think you might get booked if you had 1 billion views? You might get a conversion on that, maybe, right? So if your listing is expensive, but you're gonna get a lot of eyes on that listing, you have a good shot at getting booked. Now, there are multiple scenarios at which you will get less views than you would like. And this is where this one answer starts to get complex. If you're not gonna get enough views, you're gonna lower your rate. Well, what scenarios do we not get enough views in? Let's say we're running out of time. Your calendar next year, you have a whole year to get booked. Your calendar tomorrow, you have a day to get booked. That is the concept of lead time. And as you run out of lead time, your price needs to go down because you're going to get less views. Let's say your listing got 5 views per day. Every day somebody's searching, they see your listing 5 times. Well, that's 150 per month, 1,500 every 10 months. So 10 months from now, you should project that your listing is gonna get 1,500 views. But 3 days from now, you'll have 15 views to get booked. Are you confident that the next 15 customers, that one is going to book your place? If you're not confident in that answer, you're going to drop your rates. If you want to know exactly how much to drop your rates based on lead time, go back to my free YouTube playlist on pricing strategy because I'm a super nerd and it's in there. And no one else will ever teach you that for free. I am going to confidently tell you that the reason why no one's going to teach you that for free is because no one else on the internet knows. And I'm going to brag about that. So golf clap for me. Moving on. Another scenario that you're not going to get as many views is if your calendar is compromised. Let's say today is the 1st of November and the whole month is open, right? You have 0 days booked. That means that no matter what somebody searches for the month of November, you have availability, which means you'll come up in all searches. But let's say you're booked from the 5th to the 15th. Well, now the only times that you could get searched are if people are looking for the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or looking for the 16th, 17th, 18th, or so on. So now you've got a few days that are harder to search for. If somebody's looking for a week-long stay and they want to book the 15th, which is the day your other reservation checks out, there's only one option for them. They'd have to check in on the day of the 15th and then stay for a week. But the 25th of the month, 10 days later, if they wanted a week-long stay, they could actually stay 7 days prior and check out on the 25th. They could stay any days in between, or they could check in on the 25th. That is total number of possible booking combinations. This is something I taught at a seminar in Houston. I got really nerdy on it, and I did another video on this on booking combinations. And your visibility in search is based on the total number of available combinations. So your calendar is compromised when the total searchable combinations on your calendar starts to drop from 100% down to 10, 20, 30% because you already have other bookings. So this is a huge philosophy that I've been trying to teach for years, and some people get it, some people don't. When your calendar is wide open available, that's when you're the most expensive. When your calendar starts to get full and you've got days left behind, those days get cheaper. Isn't that kind of cool? Might seem counterintuitive, right? You'd think that, oh, well, demand is high, so I need to keep these other dates up. Well, no, demand was high for the days you already sold. The days that are left behind are the days that nobody wants, and now they're harder to find. You can't really discern that demand is high until you're already booked, unless you have 150 properties like me. And we have 40 listings in one property, and if 20 properties get booked for one weekend in rapid succession, yeah, we double the price of our list, like the listings on the other 20. But until you have 40 doors in one property, you can't really use data to know that your demand is high. Right? So do it this way. And the third instance that you know that you'll get less views is when demand legitimately drops. And what I mean by this is there are seasonal markets where we know we're going to have periods of low demand. So you're planning a certain base price, right? You're going to have an all-weather booking strategy, but you need to price for your best months because you don't want to leave the good money on the table, right? So you're going to have a pricing strategy that'll take you through your best months and get you booked all the time. But remember how I told you to take note of that person that doesn't have any bookings in October and November, but the rest of their calendar looked like it was full because of all their past reviews? Well, now we know somebody who's not dropping their price in slow season. Now, the reason why it's important for you to drop your price in slow season is because when demand goes down, the total number of available listings per traveler goes down, which means you're gonna get less bookings. What I can tell you on this video, without turning it into a 30-minute long video, is that your slow season booking strategy starts 2 months before slow season starts. If you get booked and your competitors don't get booked in slow season, you're the only person that made any cash at all. And to make some money when your competitor makes none means that even if you broke even and they lost money, they hemorrhaged it. Not losing money as a competitive strategy in slow season is just as important as maximizing revenue in your peak season. And again, I want to welcome you to watch all my free pricing videos, and I really welcome you to stick around on this YouTube channel. I can be a little dry, I can be a little bit combative, and I can be a little bit nerdy, right? I'm just a brain here on YouTube. I was homeless in 2009. I didn't grow up in the best childhood, and I realized that I made a lot of my videos to try to prove myself, to prove that I was good enough. You know, this channel got existentially deep. I've talked about my mentor committing suicide. I've talked about some really big topics on this YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm just encouraging you to kind of stick through some of my personality quirks to get to the facts that I'm trying to teach, because where my heart is making sure that all of you guys have a fair shake at this industry. It's a peer-to-peer industry. The barrier to entry is really low. There are a lot of people who just find their first opportunity to make their own real money in short-term rentals, but who's there to help? Right? And that's what this YouTube channel is really meant to be, an opportunity to help all of you from all walks of life, no matter where you're from, to get the real facts. You have to deal with me and my personality type and my mood swings on this YouTube channel, but you're going to get raw, true, useful information. Like I said, I have 150 properties. I've made over $10 million on Airbnb, and I'm not telling you that to rub your nose in it, because it really doesn't matter. What I'm teaching you here is tried and true from 7 years of experience. And a lot of what I've tested is just because I had a YouTube channel. I was like, if I get this to work, I can tell you it worked. Like my rent-to-own furniture situation, I was not going to do that unless this channel existed. I actually wasn't going to grow past 10 listings unless this channel existed too, so here we are, right? You guys have been my accountability partners. With that said, I just wanted to give you my gratitude, and I wanted to give you like an open door to ask me anything you could ever want on the planet about this type of content. I'm here for you guys. I've had a really good life. I've had a blast the last 5 years making these videos. I intend to stick around. I tend to be here. You know, suit, no suit, gym day, whatever. So thanks so much for watching this video, and of course, listening to that little tangent at the end. And as always, I'll see you on the other side.